Bema there's a wind, hey, ya, hey, ya, ho, hey, oh, hey, oh, Bema there's a wind, hey, da, ya, hey, ya, ho, hey, oh, hey, oh, Ishko day, ya, hey, ya, ho, hey, oh, hey, ya, hey, ya, ho, hey, oh, hey, oh, Bema there's a wind, hey, da, ya, hey, ya, ho, hey, oh, hey, oh, ya, ha, hey, ya, hey, ya, ha, hey, ya, hey, ya, ha, hey, ya, hey. Bonjour, Nindawe Namaganog, my relatives. Here we are. I've been watching over this fire for several nights now. I'm the fire keeper. My biggest responsibility is to never let this fire go out. I didn't know this was my calling. I was sort of voluntold by an auntie to do this. At first, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. You know, sometimes how it is. The hours pass and, you know, I don't even know how long I've been here. About every 2 hours or so, I put another log on the fire. Well, even when it rains, I make the build so the fire will never go out. I learned that the hard way. I learned to change the design. The fire needs 3 things: heat, fuel, oxygen. I look into this fire night and day, and I see many things. In our Anishinaabe stories, they say all fire is connected. And at one time, they say all fires come from this one fire. We are in a time of great change, of great need, of great revolution. We are at a time when animals do not talk to one another, for they do not all speak the same language anymore. And at one time they did. We're at a time where water is bottled into plastic containers and we use plastic to pay for heat to warm our bodies instead of fire. We're at a time when language is a translation of many translations, where words like electric brain, computer, mazana, bindiga, windigat are translated into the language Anishinaabe. Well, I'm coming to you live by electric brain, by computer, mazana, bindiga, bindigan. I want to share with you some teachings of the seventh fire and beyond given to our people, the original, the Anishinaabe. It was once said the 7 prophets appeared to the people in the form of fire. Ishkode. This first fire told the people that in time of the first fire, they would need to leave their homes in the east by the sea and follow the sign of the Migashel. They were to journey west into a strange lands in search of an island in the shape of a turtle. This island would be the purification of the earth. Such an island was to be found at the beginning and the end of their journey, like a circle. Along this journey, they would find a river connecting 2 large sweetwater seas. This river would be narrow and deep, as though a knife had cut through the land. They would stop 7 times to create 7 villages, but they would know when their journey was complete when they found food growing on the water. Manoman, wild rice. If they did not leave east, there would be much suffering and they would be destroyed. So they must be strong and ready to defend themselves, but to always have peace. So if the fire keeps going, language keeps going, life keeps going, stories keep going, all fires are connected. All fires come from this Ishkode, this first fire. In this time we are right now, we have a choice between 2 paths. There is one path that is well worn that might be easier to walk, but the earth is scorched. The other path is more difficult, but it is green and lush, and we get the choice on which to embark. Which path will you take? In the seventh fire teaching, the great mystery said, if you do not move, you will be destroyed. We set out to move west, following a great Megashell that appeared in the sky. It was a cold night at twilight. Lost my sense of direction on that walk back. Snowy road and slippery ice, cars passing with one headlight. I tried to recall, but it's all blurry. The snow falling down. It was across from the dump. I know that smell anywhere. Trucks came on our land, get rid of nuclear waste like they didn't even care. I'd scream and yelled, throw my fists up and scream more. Stop trying to erase us! There was a fire deep in the marrow of my bones. I started a fire and lost it all. House, beads, feathers, pictures, children. All burned to dust, ash, soot, mixed into the earth, mixed into the wind. I left home from the north for the first time. I needed to move on and feel some sort of sunshine. There was always a place I dreamed of where I could hear my own mind. I wanted to go to the coastline and lose all sense of time. Back then when I was younger, not knowing what I had here. Ceremonies, roundhouse, song. Thought it was all just suicide and fear. The shame I carried from those moments brought my future to the past. I just wanted to move on. I moved far away. Is that what warriors do? I don't know, but I have to keep on with the keep on before life blows away and I'm all gone. So I came back here like a flicker. That's how I got my new name, Keeper of New Light. One, Bejik, turtle-shaped island. The Anishinaabe were told they would lose their direction. A woman at the time in the village had a dream that she was standing and riding on the turtle's back in the river. So the elders instructed everyone to find the only river that flows west in the region. They found the island across the banks from what is now known as the St. Lawrence River. They put down their tobacco, their asema down, and that's when the fire becomes sacred. All fires are connected. All fires come from this first Ishko day, this first fire. Never let this fire go out. It is now sacred. That time it was open road, nothing but road. It was mile marker after mile marker to the great thunder waters meet. Gichikakebaking, the great falls. It was strawberry moon, July. Mosquito deaths on windshield, side windows open. I was looking for you. Wind blowing fast, music turned up, seatbelt whipping against my chest, axles shaking, busted dashboard held together with Earth Day bumper stickers. That pony was old, metal old, over turtle backbone as shadows moved back and forth. Mother Earth lays on her side, covered in a green forest blanket. Memories like films when things were easy, as stars slip through my fingers onto the wheel. First thunder strikes, came the rain, pulled over waiting, thunders past near the Great Falls, waiting for a sign. Then the Thunderbird calls. To Niagara Falls Thunder Waters, what is now known as Niagara Falls. And at that time, there were so many Anishinaabe and offshoots that carried the fire, searching and waiting for the path to take, that there were so many, they say that at night, the landscape lit up and went as far as the eyes could see because it looked like stars. And some groups decided to stay and set up a permanent camp, and others kept on. And then at the headwater of the Thunder Waters, the Migishel appeared to the Anishinaabe people, and it was a sign they were on the right path. American spirits, medicine, tucked into my pocket just in case I was invited to a ceremony or something, or if I started crying because I missed you or something. Place a sema into the water like a sacred offering or something. The heart fire burns like never ever more, like a 2-row wampum belt come to life. Across the way, a monument-shaped rock, table covered with a purple blanket. You had necklaces and bracelets and brain-tanned leather. The gooder kind, you said. You asked me where I was from and where I was going. You told me about your wampum and earring clasps and sick mother. We measured our hair to know whose was longer. Talked about clans, trying to figure out low-key if we were related or not. As I was leaving, you gifted me the shell. It belonged to an elder snail. You said, it's literally its back. You were so weird, but so was I. I left and kept thinking about you to this day. Sending up smoke to the sky in the longhouse when I pray. In a post-apocalyptic house along the river in Detroit, half-broken mirror leans against a broken wall. Reflections and fortunes reveal my teenage path. We, the young artists, we call ourselves, we tagged on anything really we could get our hands on. constantly debating what is a phenomenon and what isn't a phenomenon. We were making possibilities, making music, making art. Art that looked like thrown paint on the walls. Metal freezers stacked on top of one another like piles of people packed to stay warm. And then some of us stayed and some of us split. I found an old dumpster can, turned it over and made a beat. That was my drum for songs in that moment, like blood memories singing through me. Where does it end and where does it begin? I have nothing to lose and everything to win. Three, Niswe, Detroit River. In the third fire, the Anishinaabe would find the path to the lands prepared for them, and they would continue their journey west to a place where the food grows on the water. There would be conflict and peace near two great bodies of water. Three groups would emerge: the Bodewademi, the Potawatomi, the sacred fire people who guarded the coals of the fire. The traders, the Odawa, were in charge of food and supplies to the nation. And the faith keepers, the Anishinaabe, keepers of the sacred scrolls of the water drum for the people. The water drum will always help the people find their way back. Stuck and needed to get back home. It was the only time when I was gone when I tried to make a fire. The fold of the heat I missed. With my bundles of sticks, I rubbed them together with a bow to signal home. Anyone who passed by, I begged for $1. Low on gas, low on food, just low, deep low. Beneath it all, I found a branch on the ground, took sinew from a necklace around my neck, and cast it out into the water. Ripples of language. I found my wish. Four, Niwin, Manitou Island, large body of fresh water. In the fourth fire, the Anishinaabe people were told to expect a race of people who had light skin. The future of the Anishinaabe would be known by the face of the light-skinned people would wear. If they come in relation, there would be a time of wonderful change. New knowledge would be joined with old knowledge. Then in the fourth fire, warned the Anishinaabe about the light-skinned race might wear a face of death that would almost look like the same of the face of a friend. If they come carrying a weapon, and if they seem to be suffering, beware. Behind this face is greed, and you shall recognize the face of death if the rivers are poisoned and the fish are unfit to eat. But a long time had passed when the Anishinaabe couldn't find this place. So they waited a very long time as their lives got lost and started trading with the settlers. But the one thing they did have was the water drum, who had a vision for the Anishinaabe to keep going. So you know that job that opened up. I applied to it. I thought this is what I had to do. They came with their worldview. Giant machine extracting and taking from our earth. Five. Nonan. Sault Ste. Marie. The fifth prophet said that in the time of the fifth fire, there would be a struggle between the way of the mind of the light-skinned people and the natural path of the spirit of the many nations of natural people. As this fire loses its heat, there will come among people whose promise with great joy and salvation. And if the people accept this promise and abandon the old ways, the struggle will continue for many generations. This promise is false, and it will nearly destroy those who accept it. They say cup of life is going away. Children will be taken away. Culture ways will be taken away. So the Anishinaabe carved on the rocks to find their way back along fast water. Bomara zawin gisha manedo. Jwe nimgini janasak. Agunji. Wenjabawat. Wabanung, Raunung Nagabinung Manoki Wedinung. Mikwachki jamanedo. Adapanan aawa asema. Sustain knocking the rice. Using canoes with long poles to push and pull through the rice beds. Never motorized boats. You need 2 knocking sticks to bend the rice over into the canoe. Knock it into your boat. Darker green is best. Some of the rice falls into the water, replanting itself for next year. Parching the rice. Lay it out and sun dry it. It smells like the lake. And it will taste like the lake. Everything you say and do goes into the rice. Have a good mind. Feed our bodies, feed our souls. Get a fire going. Stir the rice over the fire like you are paddling a canoe. Keep it moving and pay attention. Listen for a popping sound. Dancing the rice. Make a pit into the earth, put on your moccasins, dance off the hulls by using your foot, never your shoes. While winnowing, place rice in a birch bark container. Find which way the wind is blowing. Gently use wind to take the hulls. Back and out into the water. Back into Mother Earth. The final cleaning. Separate the broken pieces from the whole grain. Spin on a shallow basket to help separate the pieces and pick out individually the hull from the rice. Six. Ningo Dawaswe, Spirit Island, Duluth. In the time of the sixth fire, it would be clear that the promise accepted during the fifth fire was false. Those who were deceived by this promise will take their children away from the teachings of the elders. Elders will lose their purpose in life, and many will become sick and die. Many people will be out of balance, and the cup of life will become the cup of grief. While they found the food that grows on the water, this was not the last stop. Remember what was told to them, that they need to find the island in the shape of a turtle. A magnifying glass does not do justice. Witness the single blade of grass growing from the earth, wild seed perfume and sun ray warmth. Illuminescent blade of grass saved my life this week. Learned to braid it before clipping from the soil. How I need to give back and comb her hair. Run my fingers through as if I were untangling the symphony of emotion and culture. Making trouble without burning everything down. Whispers spread like the virus among the people. A cough turning into decades of trauma, forever fighting to stay present, to exist. Something you don't know without being told. It's why you stay up late at night and wake up early. Every piece of that medicine in the wheel for the good mind. Taking time to wave my hands over the smoothness of songs. It's time. Seven. Nishwashwe. The seventh fire starts off as a small and glowing light. Then Water Drum told everyone where the sacred birch bark scrolls were buried, inside the place that was dug out on the side of the cliff, echoing like songs through rocks, trees, and water. Stories that had been lost will be returned. Memories to the original instructions of care. The seventh fire is the choice between the two paths. The path that is well worn might be easier to walk, but the earth is scorched. The other path, while it's more difficult, is green and lush. Which will you choose? I have come back home. The fire has been in my heart all along. All the struggles of people, all the things of present. Eight, Ishwashwe, eternal fire. Today is the beginning. Dear future ancestor, if you are seeing this right now, you are seeing fire. If you are feeling heat right now, you are feeling fire. Sending you a signal for home. Coming back to this fire, this new life is the next beginning. Love, keeper of new light. All fires are connected. All fires come from this first Ishko day, this first fire.